Hello, and welcome. Are you ready to really power up your vocabulary? In this explainer, we are going to dive into the first 25 A words from the WordSmart list. Our goal? To make them super simple, easy to understand, and totally unforgettable. Let's get right into it. So, how are we going to do this? Well, we've organized these 25 words into 4 easy-to-remember groups. We'll talk about people, then actions, then feelings, and finally, ideas. Trust me, learning words this way is a game changer. It helps your brain connect the dots and makes the words stick.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, describing people and beliefs. These words are great because you can actually picture a person acting this way, which makes them so much easier to remember.
First up, we've got 2 total opposites. On one side, you have someone who is affable. An affable person is just friendly. They're warm, they're easy to chat with at a party. The complete opposite of that, someone who is aloof. An aloof person is kind of cold, distant. They stand in the corner and don't really talk to anyone.
Let's see them in action. For affable, you could say, the new student was very affable and made friends quickly. See? It just means she was nice and approachable. And for aloof, the famous actor was aloof and didn't speak to his fans. He kept his distance, maybe he seemed a little stuck up.
All right, let's switch gears to what people believe. An adherent is basically a dedicated follower. They adhere to, or stick to, a certain idea, person, or belief. On the other hand, you have an agnostic. Now, this is important. An agnostic is not an atheist. An atheist is sure God doesn't exist. An agnostic says, you know what, I'm not sure. We can't know for certain. They're on the fence.
Here are 2 really positive words you'll want to know. First, adroit. It just means you're really skillful and clever at something. You could be an adroit basketball player, great with your moves, or an adroit debater, great with your words. And then there's altruism. This is pure, selfless generosity. When you do something good for someone else with zero expectation of getting anything back, that's altruism. Think of a firefighter running into a burning building to save someone. That's a perfect example.
This next one is pretty simple. Affluent just means rich, wealthy. That's it. You can have an affluent person, an affluent neighborhood where all the houses are huge, or an affluent country. The noun form is affluence, which just means wealth.
All right, on to Section 2. Now we're talking about action words, verbs. These are words for doing things, for warning people, and for mixing things together. Okay, pay attention to the difference here. To admonish someone is pretty minor. It's like a gentle warning. Your teacher might admonish you for being on your phone in class. But to allege something, that's serious. It means to accuse someone of something bad, but without any proof yet. When you allege something, you're making an allegation, and that's a big deal.
Now let's talk about 3 different ways to mix things. First, adulterate. This one is always negative. It means you've ruined something by adding a cheaper or worse ingredient. Next, we have alloy. This is usually about metals. Steel, for example, is an alloy of iron and other elements. Finally, aggregate. This is a more general word for a total made by combining a bunch of separate parts. The aggregate score of a 2-part test is your total score from both parts added together.
These 2 sound a little similar, so let's be clear. To alleviate means to relieve pain or make a problem less severe. Think of medicine alleviating your headache. To allocate, on the other hand, means to distribute something. A company might allocate money for a new project, or a charity might allocate food to families in need.
And just like that, we're on to Section 3. This is where we get into words that are a little more about feelings, moods, and the general vibe of a situation. So what's the difference between really liking something and, well, being obsessed? Adulation is that over-the-top, wild praise. Think of fans screaming for their favorite pop star. That's adulation. Affinity is much calmer. It's a natural liking, a gentle connection you feel towards something. If you've always loved animals, you could say you have an affinity for them.
Oh, I love this word, alacrity. This isn't just about doing something quickly. It's about doing something quickly and cheerfully. You're happy and eager to do it. If your boss asks for a volunteer for an exciting new project and you immediately raise your hand, you're responding with alacrity.
Okay, let's look at how we describe situations. Ambience is the mood or the feeling of a place. A quiet restaurant with soft music has a romantic ambience. But adverse is totally different. It means unfavorable or harmful conditions. A hurricane is an example of adverse weather. And when you face a lot of challenges, you're facing adversity.
Okay, everybody, listen closely because this is a super common mistake. Adverse describes something external, something happening to you, like bad weather. Averse describes an internal feeling. It's about how you feel. It means you strongly dislike something. So the weather can be adverse, but you are averse to going outside in it. Got it? External versus internal.
You know when someone is being totally fake just to impress people? That's an affectation. It's any kind of unnatural behavior. The classic example is someone who grew up in America suddenly speaking with a fake British accent because they think it makes them sound smarter. That accent is an affectation.
We're in the home stretch. Section 4. These are our most abstract words. They're all about big ideas, concepts, and the different ways we communicate.
Let's talk about communication. An allusion is a clever indirect reference. When a writer makes an allusion, they're hinting at something famous, like a myth or a book, without saying it directly. But if something is ambiguous, it's just plain unclear. It has more than one possible meaning, and that usually causes confusion. An allusion is clever, ambiguity is a problem.
And here are our last 3 words. Let's nail these. Aesthetic is all about beauty and your personal sense of style. Agrarian is anything related to farms and agriculture, easy to remember. And an agenda is a plan or a list of things to do, like for a meeting. But be careful, sometimes people have a hidden agenda, which means they have a secret motive. Okay, let's do a quick-fire review to lock all of this in. Ready? Adherent, a follower. Admonish, to warn gently. Adroit, skillful. Adulation, excessive praise. Adulterate, to make impure. Adverse, unfavorable. Aesthetic, about beauty. Affable, friendly. Affectation, fake behavior. Affinity, a natural liking. Affluent, rich. Agenda, a plan. How'd you do? Let's finish it up. Here's the second half. Aggregate, a mixed whole. Agnostic, unsure about God. Agrarian, about farming. Alacrity, cheerful eagerness. Allege, to claim without proof. Alleviate, to make less severe. Allocate, to distribute. Alloy, a mix of metals. Allusion, an indirect reference. Aloof, distant. Altruism, selfless generosity. Ambiguous, unclear. And last but not least, ambience, atmosphere. Fantastic work.
So why do we even do this? This quote from Wilfred Funk says it perfectly. Learning new words isn't just about passing a test. It's about being able to think more clearly and powerfully. It literally expands your mind.
So, here's my challenge to you. The absolute best way to make a new word yours is to actually use it. So pick one, just one, from our list today. Maybe you'll describe a cafe's ambiance or talk about a person who is really adroit. Whatever it is, give it a try. Thanks for joining me and happy learning.